good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. And welcome to today's Power Boost. So today's Power Boost takes the form of a question being, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And the answer to that question is the subject of our meditation today, that I expect that you can take away a way of being that is transformative and empowering. And so what brought this to mind is all of the events that we have been witness to, that's unfolding all around us, all around the world, and close to home as well. And so the thought I had that I wanted to share with you is, do you want to be part of the problem or part of the solution? Well, of course, I would expect that the first answer that would come to mind for you is that you want to be part of the solution. No one wants to be part of the problem. But it's important to outline that in a more detailed way, because when we think of these perilous times, you can feel very helpless, and you can almost take the bystander position. And of course, if you are a bystander, then you can't be part of the solution. But what is happening is that we can't see how we can be that agent for change. And so we do nothing. And so today, if you stop and think about the challenges that we face, that's the violence in the world and all around us, whether we're just talking about something that is close to home or something that is very distant. It's only distant physically because we occupy one space. It is one world, and these events and incidents are connected. If they were not, then they wouldn't have an effect on you. And so the question that we have to ask ourselves is, even if we are not the agent or the one responsible directly or indirectly for the state of affairs, whether we're talking about violence or we're talking about the level of pollution, or whether we're talking about the divisiveness that seems to be engulfing us at these times. What we must remember is that whatever is being made manifest without, you can find it within. And this is where your power lies. This is where you have the opportunity to make changes. And so, whether you can think of yourselves as, with regard to any of the topics, so even though you may not be someone that's perpetrating something violent, we need to look and see whether in our own attitude, in our own response to it, that we may be condoning violence, even if we are not ourselves directly responsible for the level of the pollution and poisons in the air. If we look, we can see that there's a role that we are playing, either by in some way aiding and abetting it, that we can change. And so if you take a moment now and just examine the causes for your concern today, the causes for your being fearful and apprehensive, or even being indifferent, then there's a change that you could make that would have you become part of the solution. And so for every problem that you can point to that is in your own thinking, you are not, for which you're not a cause, the consequences we are all facing. And as a consequence, whatever our connection is, we can turn that connection into a change of attitude. Our real power, which is why we have these meditation sessions in the first place, lies with the thoughts that we're having. And of course, what we're encouraging you every time we meet with you on any topic is to have elevated thoughts, to have thoughts that are transformative. And it is there that we have power. It is unseen, just as the things that are affecting you, even though they are distant, and maybe you might even have viewed something on television or on one of the many screens that we have these days. You can't measure the distance in time or kilometers, but it reaches you, it affects you in a second. And by the same token, you could have the same effect, the same general effect that can be positive with regard to that situation. And so that removes you from this state of indifference and victim and helplessness to being part of the solution. Because once you begin to reject that as the norm, once you begin to have the realization of your own power to make the changes within, which will immediately empower you. And this is how you know that you are making a difference, because you will have that immediate sense of lightness that comes from participating in a positive way. Otherwise, you will be experiencing all of those feelings that are disempowering. And so in this Powerboost moment today, select any one of those areas that seem to be so pervasive and destructive, not only to the physical environment, but emotionally and psychologically, spiritually. And for all of these problems, there is a spiritual solution. And that solution rests with you. And so make that qualitative difference today, right now. Engage in an activity within this powerful mind of ours, this powerful mind of yours that would be transformative and have from that action, that change of perspective, which then begins to inform the actions that you take from here on, inform the attitude that you have from here on, inform the relationships that you have with the problem, and even with others like yourself who have to deal with that problem. And so you're not helpless. Being a victim in any situation is a choice, even though it may not seem that way. And that is what we're drawing to your attention today. So to move you out of this position of helplessness and indifference, or even anger and upset, because all of that adds to the general condition everywhere. And so it's having an understanding of your unlimited possibilities, your unlimited power, your unlimited reach, and giving you a place to come from that is not victim, but engaging in the solution and in the transformative process, which of course transforms you, not just today, but every day. And so just keep that in mind as you go about your business today. And take note of that background conversation, that awareness that can make a huge difference in how you see things, in how you are seen and in how you present yourself. So be present to the present in that positive way and appreciate your own power. Om Shanti.